Roswell Flight Test Crew, here today to take a look at the Big 5 GPS tracker sent to us by Hobbico.
Now this device records every second where this device is, so you can put it on your aircraft, on your dog, on your RC car, basically wherever, and it'll come back to a little map. You can go on the computer and find out where you went, how fast you were going, average speed, top speed. It's actually kind of cool.
And it seems like this would be really useful if you're trying to get that kind of information about an aircraft that doesn't have a telemetry system on board. So we're going to test it for you.
Well, let's do it. So in the package you'll find a USB cable and a small manual. And you'll actually have to download the software for the computer online, which is pretty easy to do actually. As for the unit itself, I want to point a few features out of this little guy. So on the top here we have a mode button and an enter button. And on the side we have an on-off button and RC power. This is pretty handy. You can tie it into your receiver for power, 5 volts. And of course on the back side here we've got the USB for the computer and a small little hole to run a thread through so you can tie this to your aircraft so it doesn't fall off. Now, the features of this without hooking to a computer, with the unit, you first have time. You press the mode button, you'll get your current speed. Press again, you get your peak speed. Press again, you get average speed. Press again, you'll get altitude. Then your peak altitude. Then your trip, basically distance. And then the last two are your GPS coordinates, as they are right now. So latitude, longitude. And then of course, back to time. This button here starts your recording. So you press the button, it says record on the screen, it's now tracking. And when you want to stop, just press it again, it stops and logs as a flight. Now the cool thing about this is it logs multiple flights, so you can turn this on and off a bunch of times before you have to go back to a computer and dump the information off. You get about 6 hours of recording on this. So very, very simple. When you're not using it, just press and hold power, and it shuts off. Pretty basic. So now we're going to go fly and see how it works.
Alright, so what I'm going to do is take the aircraft out FPV, and I'm going to fly down a path over here so we can compare the track through the air with the path on the ground in the satellite imagery.
Okay, with the GPS connected, we go to File and Read. It will import all the different tracks we did. There are a couple of test runs on here you can see in the upper right hand corner. I'm only concerned with the last one. It will draw out the path. We can just zoom into that a little bit. Not too bad actually, looks like you did a pretty good track around that course there. You can see at any point along the way, you can hover the mouse, it'll tell you latitude, longitude, altitude, and speed. So 14 miles an hour there. So one thing to be aware of, if you're using this in the field with the software on the computer, you require a data connection, since it uses Google Earth to retrieve the information on the maps.
Alright, so one way it occurred to us to test the accuracy of these units is to put a second one on the same aircraft and then compare the two tracks side by side after a flight. Let's go try that.
So wanting to compare the two here, we found out that you can't load two sets of data at the same time into the system. You basically take all the tracks, you save them all, but you can't load individuals up. So what we did is open two pieces of software at the same time, loaded the track from each camera into both pieces of software, and you can see here the difference between the two of them. So as you can see here, they look basically identical. They're so close to each other. Some minor differences, like the little peak over there is a little bit more pronounced here, less there. I made two circles around this little path over here. It looks the same to me. I really can't see a difference. As you can see over here, a slight difference between this one and that one, just ever so slightly, maybe a couple feet difference, but nice smooth angles around this on this entire curve here. My solid turns were pretty obvious on both. I'd say, you know, comparing one to another, they're, I would say, dead accurate.
All right, and so for our final test, we're going to compare the GPS tracker with a radar gun. See what results we get there. All right, so I got 25 on the radar gun. What'd you get on the GPS tracker?
Well, as you can see here on the map, you're over here, and we have one data point before you, 27 miles an hour, one after, 24. So I'd say we're right in the ballpark.
Outstanding. Well, good test. All right, so that was our look at the Big 5 from Hobbyco.
Hope you're watching. See you next time.
All right, fly safe.
Let's go put this in the dock now.
Okay.